If you're like me and you get super excited when Hiro Mashima is designing any of the characters in the anime or video game, then your eyes will probably widen when I show you Farmagia. If you haven't seen this already, it's a new JRPG farming sim type game where the story is originally in this game, which I think is really cool because games like this are usually adapted from anime, right? And when that happens, sometimes it's either half-assed or it's undercooked or they skip too many arcs or other things like that. So I actually really like that this game is its own original story and they're actually making an anime adaptation from this game. So Hiro Mashima is a well-known artist in Japan. He makes Fairy Tail, Eden Zero, and some of my favorite designs by him are when he puts Natsu and Lucy together. I really enjoy all of his art. And in general, I like the fantasy setting that he usually makes his stories. So Farmagia is really interesting. So I don't think it's going to blow anyone away in a sense, but it is very fun and very cozy. And I was really surprised how much I got into it. I'm like really addicted to this game, even though it's not the longest game out there. So let me go over exactly what I enjoy about this game and if you might find it interesting. So Farmagia takes place in an underworld and the continents above the underworld are having wars with each other. And these generals that are all evil or they're good are fighting each other and they're called Farmagia. They're able to control these monster denizens where some of them look cute, some of them look terrifying and deadly, and they basically have them battle each other for territory. And it's a really interesting concept because the giant denizens, like the giant monsters, are where most of these monsters live. It's almost kind of like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 with the Titans, how people would live on top of the Titans. So then you follow your protagonist 10 to aid one of the generals and win victory over the evil generals and take over the continents. I actually really like 10's personality. He's a doer, right? He doesn't like to sit around. He likes to aid people as much as possible and he wants to make change in this world. He grew up an orphan at a young age, started able to farm these monsters and command them himself. So he's a really cool protagonist, honestly. I really like his design. As I said, I love Hiro Mashima's work, and he looks almost like a mashup of Gray and Natsu, in my opinion. But the story is actually presented really nicely, in my opinion. Now, this varies from person to person. I've definitely seen mixed reviews and opinions on this game, and in my opinion, I think these are beautiful. The portraits of the characters are always talking and moving, so their mouths are moving, they're emoting, and the backgrounds, like the background art, is honestly beautiful, really colorful, and it has an English dub, and the dub is really good, which surprised me because usually these anime-esque games, again, it's not adapted from an anime, but usually games in these styles only have Japanese dialogue, so I was really happy to see a dub. I think all the voice actors did great, and then the combat, though, is what surprised me the most. So before I get into the interesting and unique combat system, let me kind of explain how the game works. It's very simple. You're going to go to your farm, you're going to farm these animals, and it's kind of like a farming sim. I would not say it's in depth like a super good farming sim, right? It's kind of bare bones, but it's still cool to collect all these different seeds, water them, wait a few days, and grow monsters, because there's a variety of monsters you could grow and have on your team. And this is also how you strengthen them and grow your bonds. I thought this was really fun and cozy. And then for the combat, you're going to be placed in a level. They're kind of linear, but they're pre-made levels. And this is where people might not like it, but I was totally fine with it because the combat was fun. You're going to be going through these levels and reach a boss at the end. Very simple, right? But the combat is so unique, and sometimes when you try to make a combat system that's really unique like this, it just falls short, right? It doesn't feel as good as it should. It might be undercooked. There might not be enough mechanics or progression, but this game did a really good job. So you're going to have your different monsters on your team, 4 different ones, and then 4 super ones, like bigger versions of said monsters once they get powered up. And as you're running around, you're sending them out at enemies. So like you'll click different attack buttons like X or Y, because I have this on Switch, and it will send out different monsters and they do different moves. But the most surprising thing to me was the parry. If you block, you're going to have all your monsters form a shield around you, but the bosses and enemies have really cool telegraphed attacks, sometimes even chaining attacks into you where you have the perfect parry, all of it. And if you perfect parry, you're going to get HP back, you're going to deplete their meter faster, you're going to do more damage. So there's a lot of incentive to parry, and it was way more pronounced than I thought it was going to be. Like, the parry is very fun to use, it's very snappy, the effects and feeling of it are all good, and you get a lot of rewards for doing it. Plus, I'm playing on hard mode, and you will die if you do not get your perfect parries. So as someone who loves that type of mechanic in action games, I thought this was so cool how it was integrated into this like monster fighter. And then when you deplete the bar on one of the bosses, you send all your monsters for an all-out attack. You could also fill up a meter, which lets you do like a super move where all the monsters combine into each other and morph into some giant Godzilla-like creature and basically do a cutscene super move. So the combat is a lot of fun, and then there's actually progression. Like, you're not going to see everything right away. As you go through the game, you're going to be unlocking new moves, new monsters, and new ways to combine them together to do team attacks. Like, it didn't get boring for me. It just kept opening up more little things you could do, and I thought this was really fun. I'm so happy they nailed a unique combat system, because you don't see like stuff like this often. Now, where the game did fall a little short for me are the areas themselves and kind of how you progress through these zones. So there is different locales and environments, but a lot of the areas are going to feel samey after a while. You're going to feel like you're doing kind of the same thing over and over. Weirdly, there's a roguelike element to this game where you're going to grab different perks through your levels that are not permanent. They're basically going to help you get stat buffs or little tricks as you go through the level, and then it goes away after the boss. So this definitely kept it fresh a little bit, but at the same time, the levels did become pretty samey after a while and got a little stale. But the music in these levels, like, I can't stress how dope these songs are in this game. From the intro that I watch every single time because it's like a banger anime intro, to the boss themes that have heavy metal mixed with techno, to the beautiful flutes and violins that play as you're watching the cutscenes. And besides the visual novel sections, there is actual 3D cutscenes you watch. So the story also progressed pretty well. So you're not going to be going to explore big areas. You don't explore at all, really. When you're in the zones, you could grab some items and things like that, but you're not exploring areas. You pretty much go from your farm into a zone to fight enemies and then back to cutscenes to see the story. So it is very simple, and I think that's where people had their issues with this game. But for me, it's a very cozy experience. Would I have liked it to be a giant full-fledged RPG? Yeah, the characters and the story and combat, it almost makes it a little bit unfortunate that it's not like a Dragon Quest XI or Xenoblade, like full-fledged game, having heroes, designs, and all this stuff. But again, it was very cozy. I have it on Nintendo Switch, and it runs really well. Now, when I say well, it's not holding 60 FPS. To be honest, it's in the like 40s and 50s most of the time, but it doesn't look that bad in this sense, and the colors and the resolution really pop. So it looks really crisp for a Switch game. And then it's also on PlayStation and Steam, so you could get it and have it way more HD and doing it at high frame rates. So just don't go in expecting a full giant JRPG where you're exploring things. You're gonna just have this nice little farm, these zones to go fight enemies, and a nice story to watch progress. And there's also bonds you could have with your characters, so that's cool. You get to get close to whatever character of your choice. And at the end of the day, I just absolutely enjoyed this game. So if this sounds like it's for you, I would definitely give it a shot. One thing I could say is wait for it to be on sale a little bit, right? It might not have enough girth to be $60 worth, right? Unless you want the limited day one edition that comes with the art book and soundtrack and all that stuff. But if you like it, but you don't want to spend $60 on it, totally wait for a sale. But I definitely think it's of good quality. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Farmagia. I seriously think it's a little bit underrated for a cozy JRPG. Like, I haven't seen this anywhere. I got it recommended on Twitter, got it myself, and was like, holy cow, I actually really like this. Especially when all your monsters are just running around with you. It just looks so goofy and funny. It was just a lot of fun. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you very soon. Let me know down in the comments, do you have this game? Do you enjoy it? Are you gonna get it? But yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Peace.